Hey everyone, today let's talk about the exciting world of working in Germany. Now, if you're applying for the German Job Opportunity Card visa and your occupation falls within this list, which I'm going to share, then your application may have an edge over other applications. And this is not to say that others should not apply. In fact, you should apply. Everyone should apply because ultimately this is a point-based system. And you can get higher points just by having more work experience or based on your age or if you have more German language skills. So regardless of whether or not your occupation falls within this list, you must apply. And in this video, I'm also going to cover some other aspects, which is the expected salaries of the jobs in demand and the German culture, what it is like, and a breakdown of monthly expenses. So let's dive right in. So the shortage occupations in Germany can be grouped into 5 major groups: managers, science and engineering, health, teaching, and information technology. Now, if you think your job falls within any one of these groups, you can go ahead and have a read through all the different breakdowns of each group. Like, for example, if you're a teacher, if you're a childhood educator, then you fall within teaching. Or if you're a coder, you're a designer, business analyst, then you fall within Group 25, Information Technology. If you're a nurse or a physiotherapist, you fall under health. Or maybe you're an architect, you fall under science and engineering. Or if you're a manager in manufacturing, then you fall within the first one, managers. And for each of these groups, I've given you a wide-ranging salary because it really depends on your experience and the location. So maybe if you're working in Berlin, then the expenses or the salary is going to be fairly different from, let's say, a city, a smaller city, maybe Heidelberg. So the salary is going to depend on so many factors. So you can see that the salary that I've given here is really a wide range. Now, let's just go and talk about a bit about the German work culture. They have a strong emphasis on work-life balance, which is essentially that you're working for 40 hours a week. So you start at 9 and you finish at 5 and it's done. Your work is done. Everyone clocks in at 9 and everyone clocks out at 5 p.m. And punctuality and efficiency are highly valued. So if you're meant to be there at 9, being there at 8:55 is punctual. And so this is how their culture is, that people are punctual so that they start at 9 and they can finish at 9 and finish at 5. And once you finish at 5, you can go back home, work on that hobby, spend more time with your family, or whatever it is that you like to do. So there is a strong emphasis on work-life balance. The other big change that you may see from the big difference that you may see in German culture as compared to Indian culture is a more direct communication style. So the way that people speak within a professional setting and maybe even in a personal setting is straightforward. Maybe you might see that as blunt, or sometimes it comes across as very cold. But this is actually just part of the style in which they communicate. If there is something that needs to be communicated to a higher authority or someone who's older than you, it is always direct. So there is no beating around the bush, there is no playing word games, and there is no, sometimes I've noticed that when I speak to my friends, colleagues, higher ups, I'm always trying to speak in clues. I'm giving them clues so that they might be able to understand what I'm talking about. But this kind of style does not work in German culture. It is very direct. So whatever you have to say, even if it feels like you're being cold, you're being blunt, you're being too honest, and you might risk losing a friendship. The way that people speak is very direct because that is how they speak and that is how they expect to be spoken to. This might come across as cold, blunt, whatever it is, but this is their work culture. And this is why I also highly suggest that once you move to a new country, you take up a part-time job, whatever it may be. If it's working in the kitchen, if it's delivering food, or even physical labor jobs, as long as you're working with other people within that culture, so you're working with other Germans, then there is an opportunity to really understand their culture, to really take part in their group and see how they function. It might feel very difficult at first, and you might sometimes feel like you're being alienated. But this is a very small struggle that pays off really well, because once you understand their culture, it is very easy to get a full-time job and stay in that job for a longer period. And it is also easier to grow in that job. There's plenty of growth opportunities once you go to Germany, which is, since you can see that the country is bordered by other countries like Netherlands, Belgium, France, Switzerland, Denmark, Austria, Czech, and Poland. So there's plenty of opportunities for international assignments. Your language skills will also improve because you'll be working with other Germans. And as I said in the other videos, you starting to study German language right now is going to be very helpful for you. Now, let's go into the monthly expenses breakdown for a single person living in Berlin, for example. So I've broken them down into 3 buckets. The fixed expenses, which is your rent and bills. And then the second one is like food, but it is mostly groceries. You'll be cooking at home if you really want to save money. And public transportation, internet, and health insurance. And the third bucket is anything other than that, just for the money that you spend on your lifestyle, entertainment, clothing, or dining out, and so on. And if you take a total of all of this, the range is 1,700 euros to 2,700 euros. Let me move this so that you can see it better. So the total expenses range from 1,700 euros to 2,700 euros, which means you will be able to save monthly 1.5 lakhs to 2.5 lakhs a month. And personally, what I suggest you do is, as soon as you get your salary, you send this money to India, to your Indian accounts. Fixed deposits in India give you a much higher return than fixed deposits in Germany. And so is with the general market as well. Like the mutual funds, if you want to invest in mutual funds, you're going to get a higher rate of return in India, because this is India's time of growth. There is going to be really good growth for the next 10 or 20 years in India compared to other countries. We are a developing nation, so our curve is upwards compared to other developed countries. So we are still in that growth phase. And so that's what I really suggest to you, is that once you have a job and you have a salary, you send all that money back to India if you wish to grow it at a good rate. And I hope this video was useful for you, where you have the job occupations shortage list. I will drop the link. There is an official shortage list PDF. I will drop the link in the descriptions. And if you have comments about the monthly expenses or the salaries and anything else about the visa, please put it in the comments otherwise. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. Thank you.